Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here, joined by Mark Watkins, as I am each and every Thursday. Mark, boy, no other way to put it. I mean, the offense could not even score last night. It was just not a competitive situation. You just don't expect to go to Pittsburgh and lose 2 games in a row, especially when Paul Skeens hasn't even pitched yet.
Right. Yeah. I know that's a scary prospect. They've lost the first 2 games, and then now they have to face Paul Skeens. It's been a roller coaster of a season for the Dodgers. I feel like. I feel like some other fans would probably say, "Oh, yeah, you guys have big problems, right?" But we kind of lose sight of how lucky we are with this team sometimes. But by the same token, they're just still not what we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. They have a losing record on the road so far this year, which I don't think anybody would have guessed would happen at this point in the season. But it's just been a total roller coaster with them, and losing the first 2 games against the Pirates is tough. And the Pirates have some good young pitchers, but still, this is really surprising.
It is very surprising. Tommy Edman, of course, he rehabs at Oklahoma City last night. He goes 0 for 2, struck out his last time. So it's kind of like we've been talking about these reinforcements coming. Max Muncy's down the road. You've gotten Michael Kopech back. You got Tanner Scott back. You got Kirby Yates back. I mean, you've gotten everybody except for Tommy Edman, who, has always been just about a league average offensive player, and he might be even worse than that because he's coming off of injury, that kind of thing. We got spoiled with what he gave us last year. No clue what Max Muncy is going to be able to do from an injury perspective. So there may not be any more bumps as far as, just kind of getting a jolt to the system. This may just be what it ends up being for the rest of the year.
Right. The good thing is, they're steadily getting healthier and healthier on the pitching front and offense, their offense, their lineup and such. But, like you said, you don't really know what you're going to get from Edman and Muncy when they get back. And Muncy's been great this year, but can he like hit the ground running, so to speak, and get back into hitting like he was? On the plus side, Mookie's actually came around, and he's hitting well now. And Freddie's back in a groove. Will Smith was starting to hit again, but then he had a little injury scare in the last game, which thankfully the X-rays were negative on that. So hopefully he'll be okay. But it's been a frustrating year in some respects because, I guess our expectations were really high. We were just expecting them to run away with the division, I guess. Mm-hmm. But that definitely hasn't happened, of course.
So, we talk about the trade deadline getting a bump from there. Well, you don't do that because, you did get Brock Stewart, you got Alex Call, but you don't do that because you figure you're going to get quite a bit of a big bump from the guys coming back. So the most recent, Yesong Kim and Kike Hernandez. Kike Hernandez goes 0 for 3 last night. Yesong Kim goes 0 for 1. Tanner Scott gives up the 3 runs the other night. Kirby Yates at no point in this season has looked good at all. Michael Kopech did not have good rehab outings. He did not look good the other night in his Dodger stint. So it's like, you expect this to be something that's been a positive as far as getting these guys back. And so far, there really hasn't been a positive impact to any of these guys coming back. And what it's kind of added to is just the uncertainty and the ifs that this team has been dealing with all year.
Absolutely, and you mentioned Brock Stewart. I haven't heard much about him lately, whether he's going to be back or what the situation is with him. But I'm expecting good things with him. And I know you mentioned it earlier when they made the trade that he does have an injury history, unfortunately. So hopefully he can come back and help them. Trinan has looked good lately, which is a plus. But the other guys, Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates, continue to be inconsistent, and some of the other guys like Kopech, I don't know what to expect out of him. So they have about a month to get it together before the playoffs. So hopefully they can get into a groove. We'll see what happens here.
Yeah, is this just a team just kind of coasting along because they know they're keeping the Padres at arm's length? They know that the last couple of weeks in the season they can overtake the Phillies and maybe not make the wild card deal. Is this a team that's not necessarily in coast mode? That's a little bit too negative. That's a little bit too insulting to the players that are doing it. But is this a team that feels like we don't want to peak right now, so let's not just kind of hit the urgency button at this moment because we don't want to do that peak. Well, let's wait a minute. Let's see if we can flip that switch and see if we can start peaking at the right moment, which would be in about 2 to 3 weeks from now.
Possibly. I mean, even some of the players and Roberts have mentioned it too. The intensity and the focus just doesn't seem to be there on a regular basis. I mean, you have guys like Freddie Freeman, who's an outstanding base runner, who makes a base running mistake, a few games ago. And you see some of the veteran player. I mean, it's kind of expected with rookies to a certain extent, or young players like Pajes throwing to the wrong base, etc. Not hit his cutoff man. But when you see veterans like Freddie Freeman or Miguel Rojas or Mookie Betts, guys make kind of mental errors, you can tell that the focus and the intensity just isn't there right now. It's kind of inconsistent, I guess you could say. So some teams who have been really good, like Laker teams, for instance, in basketball in the past, I think they feel like they can turn it on and off and kind of flip that switch, as you mentioned. And maybe the Dodgers are kind of in that mode right now. But it's a dangerous game to play, to think that you can just turn it on and off like that. And so, yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
And the greatest teams, like the really championship pedigreed teams. Now, baseball's a little bit different because there's 162 games, so there's more big picture to it than any other sport. There's no big picture to football, right? Basketball, there's a little bit because you have, 82 games, I think, is what they play in a regular season. But there's more big picture to baseball than any other game there is, because there is so many games. But having said that, still, even saying that, the best teams, the teams that have a championship pedigree, it's like a pitcher. Okay, let me put a pitcher, for example. Okay, the best pitchers that become the best pitchers are the ones that, not necessarily how they perform on the nights where they have all their great stuff. I want to know how a great pitcher performs when they don't. Like the other night, Clayton Kershaw, yes, he gave up the 4 runs, but after the first inning, Clayton Kershaw was absolute money because he was able to pivot and he was able to get through it. So the championship pedigree teams are the teams that can win games on nights when things aren't going perfect. That's what this team hasn't shown.
Yeah, the Dodgers, another thing to keep in mind is everybody's gunning for them this year even more than in the past. So they have to play their A game or they're going to get beat by teams like these. Everybody wants to, like these young Pirates players, they want to take them down, and they're out there, giving 100%. The Dodgers got swept by the Angels earlier in the year, and that was like the World Series for the Angels, of course, to beat the Dodgers, and then they turned around and got swept by some other team, I think the A's. So yeah, there's just everybody's shooting when you're on top, when you're the world champions. Everybody's going to give it a little extra effort against you, so you really have to step it up.
I don't disagree, but that's just not an excuse for me. One, I don't mean to be argumentative with you here, but no. I just don't think that's an excuse for guys that are making this much money, that have had this much amount of success. And then B, also, I mean, it's the major leagues. You're a professional, and as a Dodgers fan, you should just. I mean, as a Dodger, you have a roster that's better than everybody else. So I can't get into the other teams. You're getting the other teams. It's probably true, but still at the same time, it shouldn't matter to this extent.
Right. Yeah, and I'm not using it as an excuse. I'm saying that they need to step it up, because these teams are going to come at him even harder. They're going to be playing even harder against them, and so you can't afford those to not be focused and not be intense if you're going to beat these teams. They're all, they all have major league caliber players, and no matter where they're at in the standings, any team in the league obviously can beat you if you're not playing your A game. So.
Yeah, no doubt. This is a group, sometimes in baseball you say, hey, you're not playing the opponent, you're playing the game of baseball. 2 different teams are playing the game of baseball, and we're going to see which team played it the best on this given day. That's pretty much your message for your kids every day. So kind of my view on this team is, this Dodgers team needs to be the Dodgers. If they are the Dodgers and they play like the Dodgers roster that is put together is capable of playing, it does not matter who is in front of them. So the kind of the way I boil this down to is the Dodgers are losing to the Dodgers because they are not playing anywhere as close to where they're capable of.
Very true. Yeah, it is very true. And season's winding down. We have about a month left to go. And as I mentioned, on the positive side, they're healthier than they've been all year, I believe. So that's a good thing. And they're slowly getting guys back. But there are some big concerns, like especially I think the bullpen inconsistency. They need to get some guys who are they can rely on to come in and nail it down in the last few innings.
Too much free baseball. So what you have to do when you're not hitting the ball very well, Mark, it's like everything else. Let's take a budget for example. So let's say like your air conditioner breaks down and you have to pay for that, right? Well, you got to tighten your belt everywhere else to be able to pay for this air conditioner, right? You can't just keep living like you normally do over here and then come up with the $7,000 or $8,000 you need to replace your air conditioner. Okay, so if you're not hitting the ball, then other areas of your team have to tighten their belts. You have to have cleaner pitching. You have to have cleaner defense. And so while you're not hitting the ball, your relievers aren't throwing strikes. Your starting pitchers aren't throwing as well. Emmett Sheehan and Clayton Kershaw have not had good starts in the last 2 or 3 games. And so what's not happening with this team, it hasn't been complimentary, because the best teams, hey, the offense isn't playing good tonight, so let's tighten our belt on the mound, let's play clean defense, and let's win with pitching and defense. Hey, the pitching and defense didn't do very well tonight, let's win tonight, let's tighten our belts offensively, let's play some small ball, let's score the runs we have to score, let's execute on offense, and let's win that way. This team just kind of is what it is, and it just doesn't seem like they have the ability to change, to tighten their belts from one aspect to the other, to be able to overcome. It just doesn't seem like they have that complementary piece whatsoever.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think, basically what you're saying is the offense isn't picking up the pitching, or pitching's not picking up the offense, et cetera, the bullpen. What I've noticed is that, they really haven't had hitters like go on a tear like they had in seasons past, where, you just can't get a guy out. I haven't really.
Like Mookie goes 0 for 3 last night. He's been hitting the ball very well lately, but he went 0 for 3 last night. Just to get one hit or something, that kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah. In years past, I feel like guys have gone on a tear for like 2 seasons, or not 2 seasons, 2 weeks, where you just can't get them out. And you've seen that a little bit, I think, with Will Smith and Freddie Freeman, but the other guys, Ohtani, it's kind of weird because as good as he is and as much as he contributes, it's kind of like he really hasn't, gone on that tear where he's been consistent. He's hitting home runs here and there and, contributing in different ways. But it's kind of odd that you haven't seen that. And none of the starters have even, Yamamoto's been pretty good, but nobody's been dominant. I wouldn't say. So Kershaw had a really good stretch this month where he's pitched really well, obviously. But yeah, I feel like just really haven't gotten into their groove, so to speak, where they're just dominating the opponent for a long streak where they win, 10, 12 games in a row at least. So it's been a kind of an odd year in that respect.
It has, and kind of like you're saying, Shohei Ohtani's been the best player in the game, so we nitpick the crap out of him, and I'm the world's worst. But it doesn't seem like he's gone on that tear to where he's just carried the offense on his shoulders for like a week in a row, like he's capable of, right? Yeah,
and I've seen him do that in the past. I've seen Freddie, I've seen Mookie, Will Smith, all those guys, but yeah, it really hasn't happened. So we still have a month left, and maybe we'll see that where they'll put it all together. Have to hope so, but flipping that switch isn't that easy to do. So
yeah. Speaking of Shohei Ohtani, 120 miles an hour. Get the hell out of here! What is that? 120?
Yeah, that's crazy. That the way he crushes the ball, and that's phenomenal.
Yeah. It absolutely is. Okay, so you have the game tonight against Paul Skeens. Do you have any kind of optimism towards this? Or, is this just this is just continuing to wait on this team to peak, or where are we at here?
It's hard to, as much as I want to have optimism, and I feel like I'm one of the more optimistic Dodger fans, but it's hard to have too much optimism right now. And a lot of times, you go into a game and like you have 2 outstanding pitchers and you're expecting a pitching duel, and then it turns out to be a high-scoring game. So maybe it'll be one of those games. We'll see.
Yeah, no doubt. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get into some of our down on the farm talk here. Let me actually open up Ching Co. So there you go, Mark. Have at it.
Yeah, I was looking through some of the stats for the ACL Dodgers. Haven't really talked about them much lately. But Ching Co. had a really good year there prior to joining the Quakes. And so did Brendan Tunick. he was a 2024 draftee. The scouts really like his athleticism. He has a really good left-handed stroke. So both of those guys actually had higher OPSs than even Emil Morales and Chase Harlan.
Wow.
Yeah,
Nice.
so I was surprised to see that. And Tunic, I haven't seen him any mention of him being called up to the Quakes yet, but I would expect that maybe he'll be up there next year. But Coe before he went to the Quakes had a 1026 OPS, and Tunic had a 967 OPS. So yeah, those two guys are promising, and Coe is starting to play regularly and hit well for the Quakes. So that's exciting to see.
It is. I'll tell you another young man that is super exciting. He's probably better than the single A level, but there's just so many outfielders in this Dodgers system right now. You want to try to find everyday playing time, so Charles Davalon has to stay down with the Quakes. You've had a chance to see him. Super exciting young man.
Absolutely, yeah, he is, and it was fun to interview him last week. He's a great kid, but yeah, he just has an amazing hitting tool. The guy, I mean, he looks very promising. Like he can hit the ball to all fields. He has a little pop, and he's exciting to watch. We were talking about him last week about his fielding and where he would rank as far as the scouting grade. And I looked it up and I saw that his fielding grade is a 55, which is pretty good. He doesn't have the strongest arm, so he could project as a left fielder possibly. But I think he's going to move quickly through the organization.
Yeah, I would agree. This guy is very good. We talked quite a bit about Cam Day and Evan Shaw yesterday, Josue Paula as well. We also covered the Roki Sasaki rehab, which did not start good, but finished well. So we covered that pretty good yesterday. Who I want to get to now, Mark, this is video of Cody Morse that you took from your last time out. You're actually going to Rancho tomorrow night too, hopefully, if Mike gets back with us with the media credentials. But this is Cody Morse. I know you're very impressed with him.
Yes, absolutely. He has a unique delivery. He comes kind of almost sidearm, 3/4 angle, but he has what you'd say is a deceptive delivery.
Yes,
and he's pitching well. He's a great kid. He has a great mentality. So hoping for big things from him.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll tell you another young man who's really gone under the radar. We like to pick up on the guys that, everybody's heard of the Josue Paulas and rightfully so, the Zaire Hopes and those guys. We like to pick up on the guys that have earned more recognition than they've been given. And I think Elijah Hainline is a guy that fits right in the middle of that category. This guy actually, in my opinion, should be the Midwest League Player of the Month. He has been that good in the last month or so.
Right. Yeah. As you mentioned on your Facebook post, he's playing really well for Great Lakes, and he kind of carries himself in a way I noticed when he was on the Quakes. He just has a confidence about him. Yeah, and he hit 355 in August for Great Lakes, so his average is up to 299. And he's another guy who can move quickly through the system. He's very, very athletic, very good defensively, and obviously can hit well too.
Yeah. That confidence comes because he's had a lot of experience. He played both at Washington State. He was at Oregon State. He was in a big regional there, and he grew up playing a lot of baseball. And you nailed that correctly. Elijah Hainline is not arrogant or cocky, but very confident. And I'll tell you, another young man who's very confident as well has shot his way up to the Great Lakes Loons. Congratulations on the promotion from Rancho to Great Lakes, Christian Zazueta, and he has had a great year, Zazueta has.
He has been, yeah, it's great to see. I know he had his debut with the scoreless inning, but obviously he was lights out with the Quakes, and definitely one of the Dodgers' top pitching prospects. And it's going to be exciting to see what he can do in the coming years.
Yeah. Actually, I want to back up. I want to cover Cam Day again because this guy hit almost 100 miles an hour the other day. Matter of fact, he hit 98.9, and like I mentioned the other day, if you hit 98.9, the Dodgers will not call that 99. You have to actually hit 99. They are stingy on that because they like the velo. So Cam Day, man, give us a little bit about what you think about Cam Day. Now, he's got to throw more strikes. He's still not in the zone as much as he needs to be, but Cam Day is starting to really turn a corner, I think.
Yeah, I'm not seeing the video, by the way, Casey,
okay.
but yeah, I mean, he's had scoreless outings, 11 of his last 12 outings, and so he looks like he could be a fast riser. It's exciting to see the Dodgers. In years past, have had to really go outside the organization to for relievers, but they have a lot of guys like Cam Day in the organization now who look like they could definitely help the major league team in the near future.
Yeah, 100%. Is there anybody else you wanted to cover here before we get out of here?
Domingo Geronimo is also pitching well for the Quakes. I saw that he's 8-0, so he's been pitching very well for them.
Yeah,
he's kind of a little bit under the radar.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty much it for this one.
Here's a little bit on Geronimo right here. Domingo Geronimo, yeah, good young pitcher here in the Dodgers organization. So I'm going to bring this back, Mark, to both of us. So final thoughts here for the show today. Again, frustrating patch. Just got to keep trucking and hope you peak at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, something's got to give with this team, and hopefully in our next podcast we'll have more positive things to talk about, and the Dodgers will have turned it around and stop going through this roller coaster and get on a roll for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, thanks, Mark. Great job today. Thank you to all of you wonderful Dodgers dogs out there. And as always, it's a great day to be a Dodger.